As the sun rose over the Ganges, Ira stood at the river's edge, her swollen belly a testament to the life growing within her. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and waded into the cool waters. With gentle hands, she scooped up water and poured it over her shoulders, chanting ancient mantras to purify her body and soul. The ritual was a familiar comfort, one she'd performed many times before, seeking solace in the sacred waters. Meanwhile, Nandini, a wealthy woman new to the city, stood on the riverbank, taking in the breathtaking view of the temples and the bustling activity along the Ghats. Her eyes wandered to Ira, and she couldn't help but notice the pregnant woman's determined expression as she performed the ritual. Nandini's brow furrowed in concern. She wondered how a woman so close to term could exert herself in such a way. As Ira finished her ritual and stepped out of the river, she felt a sudden, sharp pain in her stomach. At first, she tried to ignore it, thinking it was just the baby kicking, but the pain intensified, radiating through her lower back and abdomen. Ira's eyes widened, and she let out a cry of distress as she realized she was experiencing labor pains. The women nearby, who had been fetching water or praying, rushed to her side, including Nandini.
Oh dear, she's going through labor pain. We have to help her.
One of the women exclaimed.
We need to get her to a safe place quickly.
Nandini took charge, directing the others to support Ira and guide her to a nearby platform where she could sit and rest. Ira's face contorted in pain as she gripped her belly, her breathing becoming more labored. The women surrounded her, offering words of comfort and support. Nandini quickly assessed the situation and instructed one of the women to fetch a midwife or a doctor, while others brought water and tried to make Ira as comfortable as possible. As the contractions grew stronger and closer together, Ira's cries became more frequent, and her body tensed with each wave of pain. Nandini stayed by her side, holding her hand and talking softly to reassure her that help would arrive soon. The women around them prayed softly, calling out to Lord Krishna to bless Ira and her baby with strength and health. In the midst of this chaos, Ira felt a sense of gratitude toward these strangers, who had come together to support her in her moment of need. As she looked up at Nandini, she saw kindness and compassion in her eyes, and for a moment, Ira felt a sense of peace wash over her, despite the turmoil her body was going through. As the situation grew more dire, a slim woman rushed back to Nandini, her face etched with worry.
There's no doctor nearby,
she said, her voice urgent.
the hospital is too far from the temple.
Nandini's expression turned anxious, unsure of what to do next. Despite her uncertainty, she continued to comfort Ira, who was growing weaker with each passing moment. Just as hope seemed to dwindle, an elderly woman with a kind face and gentle eyes appeared, her silver hair neatly tied back. She introduced herself as a retired midwife and offered her assistance. With a calm, confident demeanor, she took charge, guiding the other women in supporting Ira through the final stages of labor. After what felt like an eternity, the baby was born. As the newborn let out a lusty cry, the women around them breathed a collective sigh of relief. Ira's eyes lit up with joy as the old midwife handed her the baby boy. Krishna, she whispered, her voice barely audible, as she gazed lovingly at her child. But in the same instant, Ira's eyes began to close, her body going limp. Despite Nandini's efforts to support her, Ira's grip on life slipped away. She died holding onto her baby, her last breath a whispered prayer. Nandini's face contorted in shock and grief as she gently supported Ira's lifeless body, her eyes fixed on the baby in Ira's arms. The atmosphere around them turned somber, filled with cries of sorrow and disbelief. Some women screamed in shock, while others wept silently. Nandini, still holding the baby, tears streaming down her face, looked at the tiny, fragile form in her arms. She cradled Krishna close, her heart heavy with the weight of the sudden tragedy. As the reality of Ira's passing sank in, the women around them began to murmur prayers and pay their respects. Nandini rocked the baby gently, trying to process the events that had unfolded before her eyes. She looked down at Krishna, and her heart swelled with a mix of sadness and love.